Presented by EA Game Changers. Right, Battlefield 5, World War II epic shooter. I've got loads of details for you, alright? I've got tons of details, loads of stuff you won't have heard. You've seen the trailer, you've seen some little tidbits, but I've got some deep dive details here, and I'm going to shotgun them into your ears as fast as possible, and you're going to pick them out. Alright, you ready? Let's do it. Okay, maps, areas you're going to fight in. You've got the mountains of Norway, the French countryside, Rotterdam, and North Africa. That's where you're going to be fighting on launch in Battlefield 5. Progression. This is a huge part of Battlefield 5 now, completely new to the franchise. Essentially, you can make your own company of soldiers. You can customize them completely, how they look, what they do, how they play, what equipment you've got, what gadgets you've got, perks. You can upgrade them through a skill tree of perks. So it's more like an RPG type system where you go, oh, I want to go through this tree, I want to get this. And you can do that for your soldiers, your weapons, and your vehicles. You'll get assignments and daily orders and special assignments to unlock different things for your soldiers, vehicles, and weapons. And that all ties into the games as a service aspect of Battlefield 5, which they're calling Tides of War, which I'll go into later. But suffice to say, the progression on this is deep. Deep! So now I want to dive into the core gameplay mechanics of Battlefield 5, what makes it different and a completely unique experience. And it's totally, I will say this right now, it is totally different to Battlefield 1. It isn't just a reskin Battlefield 1 World War II. So let's go into it. First and foremost, huge feature, fortifications. Everyone has a toolbox. You can now build sandbags, tank traps, barbed wire, foxhole, trenches, and you can rebuild them, buildings that are destroyed as well. So that's a huge new feature for this Battlefield game. The support class goes a bit deeper with the building. They can actually build resupply stations and things like gun emplacements as well. So that's pretty cool. Squad play has always been a part of Battlefield, but in Battlefield 5, it is at the core of the gameplay experience. It's all about relying on your squad mates. When you spawn into this game, you'll have limited ammo, you'll have limited resources, and you have to rely on each other to get through. You can loot ammo off dead soldiers now as well, and you have to physically go and collect meds and ammo off your squad mates as well. So if they put an ammo box down, you have to go up and click it and actually take the ammo out. Everyone in your squad can revive each other now, so you don't have to be a medic to revive, but being a medic will give you bonuses to the revive, like the speed of the revive and how much health they're on when they get up. Talking about health, regenning. So regenning works differently in Battlefield 5. You don't just regen back up to 100 HP eventually. It only goes up to a certain point depending on your customizations and skills and whether, of course, you're actually being healed by the medic class. Not only that, you can also now drag the downed bodies of squad mates. That's right, you can drag them out of the field of fire and revive them safely. Or drag them into a field of fire and revive them dangerously. So as you play together with your squad now, you earn squad reinforcement points. So as you're doing well, capturing objectives, getting kills, whatever it is you're doing, eventually your squad leader can use these squad reinforcement points to call in special weapons or tactical strikes. The examples we were given was a V1 rocket, which you saw in the trailer, that huge thing that goes bang, like a little tactical nuke. You can call in a supply drop of ammo and meds. You can call in a smoke barrage. You can call in a heavy weapon pickups as well, similar to the elite classes, which are no longer in Battlefield 5, but you can call in heavy weapons. Then also you can call in, for a lot of points, the hero vehicles. So for the British, you've got the Churchill Crocodile tank, and for the German forces, it's the Sturmtiger tank. These are 4-man tanks, specifically designed for your squad. Other people won't be able to get in them. You call them in, you bundle in with your squad, and you wreck face. So let's talk a bit about the player movement in Battlefield 5 and how it's different now. So they're all about this sort of kinetic movement and interacting with the environment and it being a bit more manual. First of all, there's no auto-vaulting. Everything requires an input to do. You're not going to walk up to a thing and you're going to be sort of awkwardly kicking rocks around at your feet or trying to get through a window awkwardly. You can throw back grenades that are thrown at you, and you can also shoot them out of the air. You saw that in the trailer. The chap throws a grenade in front of a plane and it explodes, destroying it. Madness. The stationary weapons you can actually place on the back of vehicles, hook them up and drive them around. Again, you saw a little touch of that in the trailer. You can also fire them off the back of as they're being dragged. So you could drag on your tank, you could put an AA emplacement on the back if you want and become some sort of horrible ground force death machine if you really want to do that. There's procedural destruction on the buildings now as well. So before, you just shoot a building and it just breaks in a way that's all very predictable. It always looks the same. The animation's the same. But now, if you fire a shell inside a building, it's going to explode outwards. You're going to see that debris explode in that manner. If you drive through the corner of a building, it's going to break along that corner as you're going through it. It's not just going to go doo and explode in a set animation. It's procedural, so all the parts break apart. It looks epic. Epic! The player's movement is now dependent on their environment as well. If they're running through shallow water, they're going to be doing high knees to get through, running through it faster. If they're running up to a wall, they're going to slam their whole body into the wall, depending on the material. That's going to affect the way the animation looks. They're going to slip around on the mud. They're going to stumble through the long grass. Okay, but the best part about this is it's not actually going to affect your gameplay. It's just the look of the game in the third person. Other people will see this. And a big part of this is now the ragdolls are all server side. So no longer will you get this weird sort of disconnected, discombobulated body. It just looks completely unconnected to the world. It doesn't look real. It doesn't look normal. Now, everyone's going to see the same thing. So if you shoot someone at the top of the stairs backwards, they're going to fall and slide down the stairs backwards. You can now dive in all directions. You can dive backwards, forwards, left, and right. And once you finish that little dive animation, you're going to land, and you're going to be able to shoot from wherever you land. So you can lie on your side and shoot. You can move backwards in a prone position and shoot in front of you. You can then go forward and prone and shoot as you would. And you can do that all on the ground. You can sort of wheel around. So it's a bit more free in the way you can move. So final word on movement as well. Just that bit in the trailer you saw where he jumps out of the window from the top and does a little roll. That's not just a shiny trailer bit they put in. That's actually part of the game. So it's all about keeping momentum and timing your jumps correctly. So if you were to run up to a building and jump through the window, you'll jump, tuck your knees, jump in, land. You can do a roll and then fire your gun. So it's all about giving the player a bit more freedom of movement and giving them a higher skill gap as well in terms of, like, you know, timing their button presses correctly. And it's not automatic. It's all down to you, the player. So, what's different to other Battlefield games? Well, let's specifically go for Battlefield 1, obviously the previous one in the franchise. Okay, first, huge one, no 3D spotting. It's been completely revamped, basically. Just spamming Q isn't going to put Doritos. It's not going to be Doritos Shooter Online. There is spotting, but it's going to be restricted to different types of gadgets, okay? So, not everyone can just spam and do that. That's it. It's mostly gone. There's no sweet spot for the snipers as far as I know. That's gone. That's removed. Goodbye. There is bayonet charging still, but you will have to equip the bayonet as a gadget on your soldier. So it's going to take up a gadget slot. So you have to really think, is it worth taking that over something else? And this is a huge one here. Huge one. Recoil patterns. Random deviation is gone. And there is no visual recoil. Visual recoil, I mean, is that the model of your gun looks different to where the bullets are going, which happens all the time in Battlefield 1. It's actually got predictable recoil patterns now. You can counteract yourself. You know, where your gun model is, that's where the bullet's going. You can jump and shoot in the air, and you can also shoot whilst falling. But you will have a massive accuracy penalty, of course, for that. And another huge part of the shooting mechanics is bullet penetration. So now you can shoot through different materials depending on your caliber of gun. You can shoot through wooden fences, you know, sheet metal. You know, I haven't seen anyone shoot through brick. But if it's a light housing, perhaps you can shoot through it. We don't know yet. But basically, there is bullet pen, and you will be able to spray down houses with your LMG. Another huge part of the gameplay, and it goes back to the squad sort of part of Battlefield 5, is the new spawn system. So they've revamped the way you spawn and die in Battlefield 5. So just as an example, you're playing, you get shot. You can then opt to go into a revive animation where you're actually lying on the floor, looking around, pointing at people, clicking a button, saying, hey, I need help. You have a timer on that animation. If someone comes and revives you, a squad mate or a medic, brilliant. You're up, you're back in the fight. If they don't come and revive you, that's it, you're dead. And then you go to a screen where you can see the full screen point of view of all of your squad mates. So you can flick between them and you can actually see where they are, exactly how they're fighting. So you know exactly what you're getting into before you spawn in. Then you can, obviously there's a timer, then you can spawn right next to them and get back into the fight. If all your squad mates are dead, and the last squad mate remaining will have a warning on their screen when this happens saying last squad member surviving. If they're all dead, you will then go back to that top spawn screen with the flags or the vehicles, the traditional normal Battlefield way. So that's the new sort of spawn system they've got there. Right, moving on to modes. Modes in Battlefield 5. Right, you've got all your Conquest, TDM, Domination, Conquest Assault. I think all these, the normal modes are in. War Stories, single player, that's making a return. A new one they've got is called Combined Arms, which is a 4-player sort of co-op mode. Apparently it's dynamic, like it's different the way you play it, but you can level up your soldiers in that mode and use them in the multiplayer. And then the main mode that they've been tooting for this one is Grand Operations. So this is their Operations Mark II from Battlefield 1. 64-player mode. It combines different game modes and maps set across 4 fictional days. So across these 4 days, there's 4 unique and distinct modes with custom rules and map layouts. Each day affects the next day, the next map and mode. So the loser will have reduced respawns and resources for the next day. So here's an example. So the start one would be an airborne mode where people, the attacking forces have to jump out across over Rotterdam, the British forces, and paratrooper in and destroy objectives, artillery objectives. So that'd be the first mode. The next map might be Rotterdam again, but this time it's breakthrough. So more like the traditional operations mode. You capture the points in a row and then, you know, try and win the mode that way. The third map, and it always goes to at least 3 maps. The third map, say, it could be a conquest assault mode on a different map. But this time, no vehicles. Like it could have a modifier. It could have no vehicles. It could have no medics. All sorts of different modifiers they could put in for different modes, depending on the day. Then finally, you've got the day 4 mode, which is called Final Stand. Now, the Final Stand mode you won't always see. It only happens if the third day is like a draw. So it always does the first 2 maps, and then the third day, if it's a draw or very close, apparently it goes to Final Stand mode. And the only details I got on Final Stand mode was you get 1 life, low resources, like you spawn with like a mag of ammo, that's it. There's heavy weather, like heavy effects. Last man standing wins. Boom, Final Stand. So finally, I just want to touch on Battlefield 5's Tides of War service, which is their ongoing live content update service, similar to things like a Battle Pass, which you see in other games. There's no premium in Battlefield 5, that's gone. Everyone gets the maps and content at the same time. It will be presented in parts or seasons, if you'd like to look at it that way, with different things going on there. The Tides of War service is going to give you different assignments, different rewards, dog tags, face paint skins, weapon skins, and it will tie into the Grand Operations mode. It'll offer you a limited time Grand Operation, perhaps with some unique rewards with new game modes and rules you haven't seen before. But basically, everyone's going to have access to this Tides of War service, which is going to give you new stuff to do each week, new assignments, new modes, and it's all going to tie everything together in a neat little package. Oh, God, okay. I got through it. That's everything that I wrote down in my little notepad. If you've got questions below about anything I've said, and I can elaborate on it, then please leave us a comment below. Honestly, really, really blown away by the amount of difference that this and different things they're adding to this Battlefield game, and how different it is from Battlefield 1 in terms of it's way more. I don't want to say hardcore, but it's way more like I don't know. Well, hardcore. I don't want to say it, but I've said it. The progression seems absolutely crazy. The Tides of War service, you know, you're gonna have stuff to do each week. You know, it all sounds great. If they can deliver on everything they've said here, this is going to be huge. This is going to be a huge thing for the Battlefield franchise. So, there we go. Battlefield 5. Hype my tits off, daddy. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!